Things just took a major turn as a shocking new report has dropped, revealing some big details as it pertains to Kevin Durant's future in Phoenix, and some rumors and reports are starting to fly, linking the Lakers to KD. We're going to break down that and discuss what it means going forward. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, folks, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the 86% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, getting closer each day. So if you want to help us towards that goal, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But Hunter, some crazy news came out today, and it is surrounding a trade target now in the offseason, which is Kevin Durant. And this dropped today and was a bit of a bombshell report here from Brian Windhorst. This is most likely Kevin Durant's last season as a Phoenix Sun per Brian Windhorst. They're going to trade him, and he knows that. I think everybody's intentions are crystal clear here. So for the first time, we have basically a guarantee, an affirmation that KD is going to be available for trade after this season. And there's some other interesting things. We know the Lakers have been linked to him in the past. I'm not saying the Lakers are going to necessarily get it done, but it's one more wrinkle to throw in there. And after the Luka Doncic trade, I can't rule the Lakers out of any trade here.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing with a trade for Kevin Durant and linking him to the Los Angeles Lakers is that after you pull off a trade for Luka Doncic, nothing really seems off the table now for not only the Lakers, but for a lot of teams and a lot of stars in the NBA. It has been a disastrous season for the Phoenix Suns. They have been scrambling so hard to try to get any sort of chemistry with this team and with this unit, and it has just not happened. And the important thing with Kevin Durant to note here is that he's going to be entering the final year of his contract. That's why the Suns were looking to move him perhaps at the trade deadline. They see their seasons kind of going to the gutter. And now you see it with Kevin Durant on a 4-year, $189 million contract. So you look at it, that's a lot of money, but he's only making like under 50 mil a year. So it's actually a fairly reasonable contract for a team to trade for, right? He's not on this like mega deal like a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown is right now. Like that's a number you can reach. It's actually a number the Lakers could reach. It would take a lot to get him. You'd have to trade Rui Hachimura. You'd have to trade Maxi Kleber. You'd have to trade Gabe Vincent. That's going to get you probably to about $39 million-ish. You'd probably have to throw in Dalton Knecht as well. Now, the question is, would the Suns want all these players? That's also a question. The Lakers would have a couple first-round picks to throw at them as well. Depends what the value in the market is for Kevin Durant. I expect it to be high because the thing with Kevin Durant, I actually think he fits the Lakers fairly well because what he does well is how efficient of a scorer he is. He's one of the most efficient scorers the game has ever had. All you got to do is just give him enough touches. He'll drop 25, 30-plus points every single game. He's shown he can still do that, and I think that he's someone who can be a plug-and-play for any team. But if you put Kevin Durant in an offense with LeBron, Luka, perhaps they don't have to trade Austin Reaves in that deal as well. I mean, now you're talking about one of the greatest offenses perhaps in NBA history if Kevin Durant was there.
Yeah, and he's aging very well, obviously, because he's never relied on his athleticism. He has he's a 7-foot guy who can shoot over every single player. And it's interesting. You see this here. Kevin Durant is expected to be traded via ESPN, the Mavericks are one of the top suitors, which of course they are. They're going to try to pair Kyrie with both AD and Kevin Durant. Well, yeah, which is a bit ridiculous. And it would, Kyrie, AD, and KD would be extremely interesting. But as it pertains to the Lakers here, and I'm going to ask you this question as well. Again, this was from February 14th. We covered it a little bit. I'm not sure if we had a video on it, but we definitely covered it in a live stream or something. Spurs, Rockets, Lakers, Heat to pursue Kevin Durant trade in the offseason. So those are the teams that were linked before it was basically confirmed that the Suns are going to be trading him. And this is interesting now. This is from Brian Windhorst again. And some of those other teams involved, the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Heat, varying levels of assets. For the Spurs, you kind of be trying to speed up the timeline, but now following the Wembanyama, I guess injury, if you want to call it, the blood clot that he has going on, that'll be interesting if you want to make a trade for him in the offseason and really go for it. Next year, the Rockets have a ton of assets and make a ton of sense. But as it pertains to the Lakers, Hunter, with these other teams that have a lot of assets, would you give up, and let us know down below, Austin Reaves in a trade for KD? Because I do ultimately think if there was a trade to be made for the Lakers side, AR might have to be involved just simply because of the other teams and the assets that they're going to be competing with in a trade. And you can add the Mavericks to this list as well.
Call me crazy. I don't think the Lakers would give up Austin Reaves for Kevin Durant. And I'm not even saying my own opinion right now. I don't think the Lakers would do that. They didn't want to give him up for De'Aaron Fox, who maybe he's not as good as Kevin Durant, but he's also about 10 years younger than Kevin Durant. And the Lakers weren't even willing to give up Austin Reaves for De'Aaron, who I will say, as much as I love Austin Reaves, like De'Aaron Fox is a better basketball player than Austin Reaves is. So if they weren't willing to give up a guy right in the prime of his career, one of the 10-ish best point guards in the NBA and De'Aaron Fox. I don't think they're going to want to give up Austin Reaves for a guy like Kevin Durant. In fact, they didn't have to give him up for Luka Doncic, who is a more valuable asset at this time in their careers than Kevin Durant is right now. So I don't necessarily, I wouldn't rule out a Kevin Durant Lakers reunion. I mean, I'm sure LeBron has maybe pondered with the idea of playing with KD and seeing how well LeBron's been off the ball. We know how well Kevin Durant is off the ball as well. I actually think it would work offensively, and they'd figure out a way to make it work with Luka being the primary playmaker there. But I guess the question is, money, contracts, you have to completely regut your roster. The Lakers have kind of prided themselves at being a deep team now with about 9 guys who they can really trust out there. Now you'd be down to about a starting lineup, and then a bunch of, with the new CBA agreements, it's going to be really hard to build a super team with 3 max guys like that. And especially you'd have 2 guys now over 35 years old with LeBron and KD. So I don't know if it happened, but it could happen. And I wouldn't rule it out after this Luka Doncic trade. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it's a pretty big turn for other teams involved. And even if it's not the Lakers, it'll make other teams in the West better. Whoever gets KD for next season and I guess beyond there as well. And it's interesting, again, he's probably going to get traded this summer. He knows it. The Suns know it. The rest of the league knows it. They're going to enjoy it while they have it. And according to Windhorst and Ramona Shelburne, Durant was open to getting traded to the Heat. So the Heat are an interesting option. Now, out of the teams that he could get traded to on this list, I mean, the Heat's probably the best from the Spurs or from the Lakers' point of view because it's obviously the Eastern Conference, and Jimmy's no longer there as well now. So that's another interesting thing there. It is interesting. There's a lot of different things, and let's also not forget at the trade deadline just a few weeks ago. This was kind of being thrown around about a Durant trade, not to the Lakers, but to another team. You can see this here. It was there to be done. Durant to Miami, and the teams traded proposals, but Phoenix was paid for Durant in 2023 with 4 first-round picks and 3 swaps, which is never going to happen now for KD. Ultimately, they didn't get enough. And let us know down below if you would give up Austin Reaves. I think where the Lakers are right now, they're set up pretty good. I think they have a very promising future now with Luka Doncic and even AR, because he's probably going to be a part of the future. However, if LeBron goes to them and says, I have 1 or 2 good years left in me, let's try to make a proper run for it again. And then you have LeBron with KD and Luka, and you have to give up AR. It then becomes a bit of a tougher question. I don't think the Lakers would do that deal. However, if they were really pressured to, and let us know down below if you would, it becomes a little bit more interesting then. I mean, KD, LeBron, and Luka, I'd pay to watch those 3 play, but you might be regretting it then beyond. But maybe KD would then sign a mini extension 2 or 3 years towards the tail end of his career. And I still think he'd be an effective player. So it's very interesting because it wouldn't be like you mentioned, he's on the last year of his deal going into next year. If he signs a little extension there, he could still be a very useful player, especially with his skill set and despite his age.
Yeah, and I also think this too. It seems like, according to all reports, and again, I always believe the actions of teams, they're building around Luka Doncic right now. Like, LeBron is just a part of the Luka Doncic build that the Lakers are having right now. That's just a luxury you have. So they're finding pieces that fit around Luka, and that's why I actually don't know if LeBron's influence is going to be as impactful as perhaps Luka's influence is. If Luka wants KD here, it could happen. But if Luka does not say that, and it's LeBron saying that, I think Luka's say in his camp is actually going to outweigh LeBron's, because the Lakers at this point, I mean, Luka's one of the best players now, but this is your future and your present with him.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Probably Luka's also going to, I mean, I'm sure Luka would love playing with KD as well. So it'll be very interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah, playing with him a little bit. But at the end of the day, you'd have to give up, I think, probably Austin Reaves, unless the packages for him are just really low, which it is possible because he is a pending free agent. So it'll be interesting to see how much say KD actually has towards us. But let us know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of different reports coming out. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. Make sure that subscribe button. See you guys later.